This is Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Rise from the Ashes. Ace Attorney. I say it in a different order every time. Hello, Luigi of S64D. And now we finally get to the truth. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Ema Skye, please take the stand? Miss Ema Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what I required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. About Gant and the fabrications. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Ema. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Don't worry, Lana. I'll save you. I worked alongside Gant for years. Go back. Press the witness. Hold it! How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so it would have been 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman! You told me as much yesterday in jail! You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did all this by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed of was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, is this what everything... This is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I would ask for sake of others. Why did you... Why did you move the body? I know you planted the knife. That's to make it look like evidence. Why did you move the body? When you showed up to the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Skye moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away when what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It doesn't seem right. Actually, that's impossible. If it shattered and it was bad like that, then if it was shattered, how would Neil Marshall be able to write it? Miss Skye, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction? In my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written in this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecution must have written it in its final moments, prosecutor. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on the shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. About the jar and the message and the blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away this message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. I didn't think Dark was the real murderer. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So did we. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who'd never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew if I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in this situation? Lana, if only I had a few moments. That wasn't enough time for me to do anything but gather up the pieces. The fragments were so large, I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black on that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain in the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this in the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. And oddly enough, I think I figured it out too. If the fragments were so large and she was sure she got all of them, then why was this in his safe? Miss Skye, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you are unaware of. What? You found the final piece in this jar in the Chief Gant safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you! But couldn't the defendant simply miss the piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. But they may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? No. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived on the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? Sorry, Judge. But the question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wow, even the judge got a breakdown. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Ema killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Ema. And here's the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No! I did it on my own! Please, sis! Stop trying to protect the Chief! I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake! No, you didn't! It wasn't you, Ema! You didn't kill anyone! Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says! Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies and defend their clients! Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So, do you tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence is fabricated behind your back, then Ema's accidental killing for Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Mr. Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright. The witness may testify once more for the final time. About the actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Ema and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it really was a fabrication, Ema must be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I countered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her this morning. Let's check the evidence again. Must be a picture in there somewhere. This is what she gave me. What? Huh? Hey! There's a picture here! She always brings a camera. Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged the scene. Awesome. Good job, Lana. Mr. Wright! The picture cut out. The piece cut out of his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? It's a handprint. That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints. They're yours, Emma. What are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Let's do it. When I arrived, I found Mrs. Body about... Why? Come now, Udgy. There's the poorest excuse of a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined testimony. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk the judge was talking about. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait! You mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? What do I do? I know the evidence he's talking about is this. But if I show it, then Emma's going to get a... If I show it, Emma's going to be the murderer, but if I don't, then I'll be concealing evidence. I'll be old court in law, and what do I do? Well, see, this is why it's called a Let's Play, because Phoenix Wright really doesn't know what to do. So, how about you help him? Just yeah, this is not often I do this, but if you think he should show the evidence, then just click on that little button there. The little where it says show evidence. But if you think it'd be unwise to do that, because if he doesn't, he will get held to contempt of court if he doesn't. But if he does, he makes Emma the murderer. But if you think he shouldn't do that, then hit cannot show evidence. Just click on it, and it'll show you a link of what happened. Just, you know, just make sure you look at the court record. Just check the court record again. Oh, dear. You know, this is typically where they hide like little Easter eggs. When they have it beyond a certain point, where they'll just start doing random things. I probably want to do that. Blue Badger has nothing to do with it. Okay then. Well, how come you didn't decide yet? Decide. I mean, you have all the time in the world, but like, you really should. Got us to go to lunch. I think you already came back. Please decide.